Welcome to InfoHub. In our headlines, Guyana prepared for what could possibly be a long court case at the ICJ. 2 more foreign diplomats accredited, and Legal Affairs Ministry continues anti-corruption sensitization seminars. The details and more after this.
The Ministry of Finance has announced a tax amnesty effective January 1 to September 30, 2018.
This means that you can pay all your outstanding income, property, corporate, capital gains, and withholding taxes. File your taxes before June 30, 2018, and all interest and penalties will be waived, or file before September 30, 2018, and pay only 50% of the interest and penalties accrued.
Invest in your country. Pay your taxes. A message from the Ministry of Finance and the Guyana Revenue Authority.
InfoHub begins with news that President David Granger accepted the accreditation of the Pakistani High Commissioner and the Ambassador from Thailand at State House this morning. Sunil Williams was there.
Letters of credence were presented to the head of state by the Ambassador Extraordinaire and Plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Thailand and the new High Commissioner of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to Guyana. The new Pakistani High Commissioner commended the government for its political maturity and looks forward to collaborating to boost economic development.
The government of Pakistan has made unstinted efforts to create a peaceful external environment so that the core national objective of economic development is robustly advanced. Building a peaceful neighborhood is central to the realization of this vision. We in Pakistan are closely watching the political maturity and economic growth in your beautiful country.
Guyana and Pakistan have shared relations since 1967. President Granger says he looks forward to working with Pakistan to strengthen Guyana's green economy drive.
Guyana, in this regard, welcomes the ratification of the Paris Agreement. Guyana is happy also to learn that the Ministry of Climate Change of Pakistan has started a project with the Pakistan Environmental Protection Agency titled Geomatic Center for Climate Change and Sustainable Development. That project encourages the application of satellite remote sensing, geographical information systems, and geographical positioning systems technologies in environmental monitoring and decision making. Guyana looks forward to learning about the application of these technologies from Pakistan.
The head of state pointed out that Guyana and Thailand share the common threat of climate change. President Granger added that he looks forward to learning from the nation on how to become a better green economy.
We can learn from each other's experience in building climate resilient economies. It is our expectation that your accreditation today will act as a catalyst to promote enhanced cooperation and collaboration.
Both of the diplomatic representatives will be based in Brasilia, Brazil. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
The International Court of Justice, ICJ, is to determine the legality of Venezuela's claims to Guyana's territory. Details from Paul McAdam.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge said the matter filed by himself and lawyers representing the people and the government is expected to resolve the more than 50-year-old controversy following the failure of the United Nations Good Officer process.
In fact, it is a success because we have managed to ride that mechanism that the SG decided to take up. And having ridden the mechanism, we came out at the end at the point where we wanted, which is, can we now go to a situation in which somebody looks at Venezuela's claim and says yes or no. The claim is right, the claim is wrong. The claim is nonsense, the claim is justified. At the end of that process, a decision will be made. Is the 1899 agreement null and void? Okay? And that is the decision. That's what we've always wanted. Burham would have been very happy if he could have arrived at this point.
Minister Greenidge noted that the controversy has its origins in an agreement signed between Guyana and Venezuela with the help of Britain in the quest for this nation's independence.
That agreement left us in a situation where the Venezuelans were able to dance, if you like, in between the raindrops for over 51 years and avoid a resolution of the matter. That is the heart of the problem. So having signed that agreement, whatever the agreement says, and it certainly makes no mention of the Essequibo, it makes no mention of the transfer of land, it makes no mention of Venezuela's rights within the borders identified in 1899.
Following the closure of the good officer process, Guyana was cleared to file its case with the ICJ for determination of the legality of claims being made by Venezuela with regards to territory currently occupied and recognized internationally as belonging to Guyana. Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
In the meantime, Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge has expressed that the case at the ICJ may be protracted. Stefan Gabriel explains.
Minister Greenidge, at a press briefing yesterday, called on the media and citizens to show restraint and understanding of the issues involved.
It's a long process, and the public must know that. It's a difficult process.
Vice President Greenidge further explained that the matter before the ICJ represents many firsts and must therefore be approached with care.
This is the first time that a referral to the court has gone from the SG in this way, and therefore there are a number of firsts, as it were, and therefore we can't anticipate all the possible deviations or reactions.
Additionally, Minister Greenidge added that the case's settlement could take between 2 and 6 years. He also outlined the possible financial implications.
50 million may be more than is needed. For the moment, that is what it is. And the Cabinet's decision was that as the need arises each year, the money will be transferred to the consolidated account fund from the current account, from the special account in which it is held, to meet the estimated expenditure on the lawyers in that given year.
Following the expiration of the United Nations Good Officer process, Guyana received clearance to take his border controversy with Venezuela to the International Court of Justice for adjudication. The case has since been filed by Foreign Affairs Minister Greenidge and lawyers representing the government of Guyana. For InfoHub, Stefan Gabriel.
InfoHub's Renata LaFleur now tells us that educators from across Guyana will be better equipped to handle school discord following a training workshop on restorative practices.
Educators are benefiting from a 2-day training in restorative practices, which will enable them to better resolve conflicts in schools. Regional Project Director for Impact Justice, Velma Newton, explained that the ultimate objective of the project is to assist government in improving justice in the education sector.
The process is that Impact Justice will draft model laws. They'll be sent to the governments and to the CARICOM Secretariat, where they would be examined by the Legal Affairs Committee, which comprises Attorneys General. And then once the laws are declared CARICOM model laws, they are then sent through the region to governments to be implemented.
Acting Deputy Chief Education Officer Ingrid Trotman noted for years school discipline has been an area of key focus, hence the critical need for the training.
Our society has decayed significantly with regard to the moral values and principles. This is mainly as a result of poor conflict management skills. Restorative justice is daily being used to bring peace, closure, and stability to many damaged communities, families, as well as individuals.
The training is funded by the Government of Canada, CEDA, and the International Institute for Restorative Practices. From Pegasus, Renata LaFleur reporting for InfoHub.
The Green State Development Strategy, the GSDS, represents the will of Guyanese. Therefore, it is necessary that they not only participate in the document's drafting, but that each citizen plays a part to ensure that the measures in the final document are implemented. Details in the Stacey Carmichael report.
During a recent interview, Head Department of Environment NDB Schweers explained how Guyanese can contribute to the implementation of the principles enshrined in the Green State Development Strategy, GSDS.
It is important for the stakeholders or the citizens themselves to impress upon their leaders the need for all of us to be behind the Green State Development Strategy. I believe we can have glorious intentions, but unless the stakeholders really press their leaders, the document may not go anywhere. So whilst we intend to lay it in the in the parliament, I think the stakeholders have to be more vocal.
Through the green conversations being hosted across the country, the DOE is providing the opportunity for Guyanese to be educated on what greening means.
Their participation has been very, very encouraging. And one of the questions that we get asked really often is, will there be a continuation of the Green State Development Strategy even after a change in administration? I say to them, yes, because our intention is to take this document to Parliament and to have this document debated in Parliament and laid in Parliament as a national strategy.
A very important feature of the GSDS, Schwer said, is that it will be developed by Guyanese with technical assistance from the United Nations Environment and the United Nations Country Team. The DOE head is urging Guyanese to respect the environmental regulations and to call the department if information is needed or if uncertainty exists about the effect of a particular action. President David Granger envisions that the GSDS will be based on sustainable use of biodiversity and a decarbonized approach that endeavors to provide an inclusive and better quality of life for all Guyanese within the ecological limits of our country's natural resources and with the relevant physical and human capital. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Key stakeholders were sensitized at the Ministry of Business hosted workshop on the regime and consultation of the draft Movable Property Bill at the Marriott Hotel. Crystal Stull was there and filed this report.
The Inter-American Development Bank funded project aims to allow the use of movable property as collateral when seeking to access finance. Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin said the workshop is intended to sensitize stakeholders on the draft Movable Property Bill.
It involves the setting up of a register of property, of movable property at the commercial registry. A consultant has been engaged to look at the legislation, and he is presenting a draft today. And some stakeholders are present. Many of them are lawyers, and to actually look at the draft and make comments and recommendations on how to improve it and how to make it more suitable and appropriate for our situation.
Minister Gaskin added that the bill aims to reduce the lack of access to finance, especially for persons without immovable properties.
This piece of legislation allows persons to borrow using other forms of collateral, movable forms, such as a car, a fridge, accounts receivable, livestock, crops if you're a farmer, and various other types of assets. So it really broadens the base of assets that can be used to secure loans.
The Secure Transaction Regime project is one that builds on an earlier government initiative from 2016. It will see the establishment of a modern electronic registry for registering movable property, the training of staff, improved levels of security, better risk management, reduced transaction costs and time when conducting businesses. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
The Region 3 administration has partnered with the Ministry of Legal Affairs to host an anti-corruption seminar for public officials in the region. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
Members of disciplinary services, legal bodies, and other public officials in the West Demerara Essequibo Islands Region 3 were engaged in a one-day seminar which focused on combating the prevalence of corruption in public offices. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams said exercises like these are timely since one of the mandates of the government is to reduce corruption.
Any government will want to know that the workforce is sensitized about the ills of corruption. And they have added yesterday at the 2-week seminar that has begun by the SOCO organization, fraud and bribery. We were talking about corruption in a generic sense, but they are now training investigators to look at fraud and bribery. And you know the president has said from the outset he wants a non-bribable public service.
The seminar is a part of a series which seeks to inform the public of newly enacted bills and acts and possible effects.
This government is serious about reducing the incidence of corruption or stamping them out. Because you know there is a direct correlation between corruption and poverty. And the higher the incidence of corruption, the greater the poverty in our villages and our communities. So it is important that you are also guarded.
These sessions are being taken to all 10 administrative regions, providing all public servants an opportunity to benefit from the knowledge that will be disseminated. Presentations were made on the State Assets Recovery Act, the State Assets Recovery Unit, the Protective Disclosures Whistleblower Act, and the Witness Protection Act. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
Do remember that DPI's auditions for TV and radio presenters will be held on Sunday, April 15 at our office. Interested persons 18 years and older are encouraged to sign up on our website at dpi.gov.gy/auditions. Thanks for watching, and remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.
The taxes we pay provide revenue for the government to use to develop and improve our country's infrastructure and the life of all Guyanese.
If we pay our taxes, the government will be able to build more roads, schools, hospitals, bridges, and other government facilities.
The government will also be able to use those funds to pay better wages and salaries to public servants and to improve government services.
This will help to attract more investors to our country, create jobs, and reduce poverty.
Let's invest in our country. Pay your taxes.
A message from the Ministry of Finance and the Guyana Revenue Authority.